There's something magical about a British pub, isn't there? The clinking of glasses, the low hum of chatter, the jukebox in the corner, and of course, the snacks. For generations, a proper night out wasn't complete without grabbing a packet or two from behind the bar. These weren't just snacks, they were part of the ritual, the atmosphere, and the memory of a good pint with friends. Today, we're re-looking back at 10 pub snacks from the past that truly defined a night out in the UK. First up, the king of bar snacks. Pork scratchings, crunchy, salty, and sometimes a little too chewy. These were born from working class roots as a clever way to use leftover pork rind. In the smoky pubs of the 60s and 70s, nothing paired with a pint of bitter quite like these salty bites. Over time, health concerns and changing tastes pushed them aside, though you can still find them today if you know where to look. Next, who could forget the pickled eggs, sitting proudly in giant jars on the counter? They were a true pub classic. Drop one into a bag of crisps, give it a shake, and you had yourself a makeshift meal known as a pickled egg bomb. They were cheap, filling, and unmistakably British. But as menus got fancier and health codes stricter, those giant jars slowly disappeared from sight, taking a piece of pub tradition with them. Then we have Scampi fries, launched in the 1970s. These were a crunchy, tangy treat that promised the flavor of the seaside. They had this unique prawn-on-the-lemon kick that made them perfect with a crisp lager. Their retro packaging became iconic, often spotted hanging behind the bar. While they're still around, their peak popularity has faded, remembered fondly as a classic snack of nights gone by. Before gastropubs and artisan menus, many pubs kept things simple with warm cheese and onion rolls. Imagine that. Buttery pastry, a gooey, savory filling, and a pint of ale. It was comfort food at its absolute best. These little rolls were once staples at pub counters across the UK. But as pub grub evolved into full meals, the humble roll sadly lost its place. Straight from seaside towns into city pubs, cockles and vinegar were a much-loved bar snack, served in little plastic cups with a splash of malt vinegar and a tiny wooden fork. They were tangy, briny, and full of seaside nostalgia. For many, it was a taste of home, but over time, changing palates and stricter food hygiene rules meant they became rarer and rarer to find. Of course, crisps are still with us, but once upon a time, getting a packet at the pub felt special. Golden Wonder Smiths with its little blue salt packet, and Walkers all hung in neat little rows behind the counter. Opening a packet and sharing them across the table was part of the social ritual. Today, crisps may be everywhere, but they'll never feel quite as tied to the pub night as they once did. Like their egg cousins, pickled onions were a bold, terror-inducing snack that went hand in hand with beer. Crunchy, tangy, and often fished straight from a huge jar. They were definitely not for the faint-hearted. They added a sharp bite that cut right through the bitterness. But slowly, they too disappeared from bars, pushed out by pre-packaged snacks. Introduced in the 1980s, mini cheddars quickly became a favorite on pub counters. Their cheesy crunch and perfect packet size made them ideal for snacking between rounds. They were fun, shareable, and undeniably Moorish. While you can still find them in shops, their constant presence in pubs has quietly faded over the years. Remember the old roasted peanut dispensers? Long before pre-sealed packets took over, many pubs had these glass dispensers that poured out handfuls of peanuts. For just a few coins, you'd get a salty, crunchy treat that seemed to last all evening. It was a simple ritual. Pour, snack that became part of the pub's charm. But hygiene rules and the rise of pre-packaged snacks eventually ended that tradition. Finally, the simple pub sandwich. We're talking ham, cheese, or prawn cocktail, wrapped in cling film and lined up behind the bar. They weren't fancy, but after a few pints, they were exactly what you needed. Cheap, quick, and satisfying. They were a late-night savior. As pubs shifted to full kitchens and gastropub menus, the humble cling film sandwich quietly vanished. From pork scratchings to pickled onions, these snacks weren't just food, they were part of the very fabric of pub life in Britain. They tell the story of simpler nights out, when friends gathered, pints flowed, and snacks were shared without a second thought. Which one of these do you remember most fondly? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more trips down memory lane. After all, the past is full of flavors worth remembering.